see how to create Exchange Server 2016 groups, contacts, and shared mailbox. Well, we have already seen previous video how to create mailboxes for our users. And if you recall, in that video, we created individual mailboxes as well as bulk mailboxes in which we created mailboxes for several users at once using Microsoft Exchange Management Shell commandlets. Now we need to see some other type of recipients which include groups. By default, there is none. Contacts, there is none by default. And shared mailbox. When we talk about the groups, there are three different type of groups we can create from Exchange Admin Center. Distribution group, as the name explains itself, it's for email distribution. You send email to distribution group and all the members of this distribution group will receive a copy of it or receive that email. Security group, in addition to be used as distribution group, this type of group can also be used to assign permissions to different resources. Like we can use it to assign permissions. And dynamic distribution group. This type of group, you don't define static membership. You define certain criteria, and based on criteria, the membership of this group changes automatically. Let's say you have company users and you want to create a group called corporate users, which include the user accounts for all users in the company, or all mail users just mailboxes. Of course, people leave the company and new people joins the company. And what you are looking forward is to have a group that always updates itself. For example, whenever an executive wants to send email to corporate users, email should go to all existing users which have mailbox in our company. Those who already left the company with their mailbox has been deleted will automatically be removed from this group membership. And those who have recently joined the company and their mailbox has been created will automatically become member of this distribution group. So we need to see how to create this type of dynamic groups. Let's start off with distribution group. I would like to create a distribution group, let's say sales. And for the alias, I would like to mention also sales. For the alias, I would like to mention sales. Where I would like to store, I will leave it default. Who is the owner of this group? And I don't want group owner to be added as a member. Now, I want this group to be closed. And I don't want anybody to leave this group. Okay. Now, as far as members are concerned, we can go. And here I can select members. But it is so difficult, right? How do I know which one of it's part of a sales team? It's part of our sales team, right? Difficult. So what we can do, we can use Active Directory attributes to help us out there. How? We go to Advanced Search, and I can search by department where the value is sales. Yeah. And if I say OK, and voila, it's showing me all those 4 users which belongs to sales department. So what I can do here, I can select all these four users, pressing shift key, add them up. Okay. And so we have sales, a group called sales has been created. If I go to the properties, and owner, if you remember, was an administrator, these are the members, these are the options. Okay, now we have sales group. Let's create another type of group, which is security group. I would like to create a security group for IT department because this is the type of group that I would like to use to assign permissions to certain resources. This is an example. And once again, if I know members, I can select them and add them like that. Or if I don't, I can go to advanced search, and based on these attributes, I can start off my search. So here are they. Administrator Ravi Malhotra and Rick Marshall. These three guys are IT. And now let's talk about distribute or dynamic distribution. As I said in my example, let's create a group of corporate users, alias, I'll say corporate users, where I like to store. You can always specify where you like to store. Uh, I'm not selecting any option. I would like to choose administrator as an owner. And here I can specify what type of recipient will be member of this. All recipient types, it includes public folder, resource mailboxes, external email address, external email address, mail-enabled groups, contacts. No, in my case, or in our case, we will say users with exchange mailboxes. Or, if this is not enough for you, you can specify a rule here. See? Department, company, recipient container, right? So I will select this along with a rule where I will choose a recipient container and I will choose corp. Because if you recall from previous video, I have an hierarchy in Active Directory, and corp is the topmost organizational unit. And under the corp, I have admins, finance, IT, marketing, and sales. So all my corporate users are defined over here. I have a separate OU for contractors up there. It's not under corp. So this dynamic distribution group I'm creating for corporate users only. And I know based on my Active Directory infrastructure or based on my Active Directory design that Corp OU will always include all my corporate users, which will have mailboxes in my Exchange organization eventually. So I will click OK and save. All right. If I go to the properties of this corporate users, this is the condition. And this is very important setting, which is selected by default. Who can send this mail to corporate users? I don't want anybody from outside my organization send junk emails to my corporate users. It's very easy if they know, for example, all they have to do, type corporate users at itsense.com or abc123.com and send it. And I don't want that, right? That's why this option is very handy. It says only sender inside my organization they can send email to this group, right? And then I want to further restriction. I don't want anyone, or no, sorry, I don't want everyone to send emails to corporate users. I want only my executives to send email to corporate users. And I know my executives. My executive is Mark Nicholas, David McDonald's, and Steve Smith. So only these guys are allowed to send emails to corporate users. So whenever one of these three guys wants to address all my corporate users, all he has to do, open his Outlook, send corporate users under the to field, write the subject and the message, and just send it. If anyone else, for example, Ravi from IT department, wants to send email to corporate users, it won't go through because he doesn't have permission to address all corporate users. Contacts, mail contact and mail users. Mail contact, it's a reference to outside organization. For example, Gbox is responsible to provide a stationery or to supply stationery to our company. So I can say here Gbox and last name supplier, suppliers, Gbox suppliers, alias, I can use the same thing, Gbox suppliers, and then their email address, which is suppliers at gbox. No, it speaks in ideas. I'm sorry. That's without. That's an alias. It's not a display name. So this will be our part of, or this will be the part of Exchange address list, and this way we can address to our suppliers and send email to them whenever we need stationery. As far as mail user is concerned, it's a type of user which has a user account in your organization. However, it doesn't have a mailbox. So I would say, let's say, if you remember, I have these, for example, just show you just quickly. I have contractors for you, and I have somebody called Rocky Chan. He's a contractor. He's not a part of corporate users, of course. He's not part of my company. He's not an employee. He's a subcontractor or contractor, and he has a mailbox in his company. However, time to time, while working as he's working on site with us on some project, we may need to address him through emails. So what we will do, we will just create, let's say, G Chang. G Chang, or you say R Chang. An external email address for him, which is rchang at jbconsultants.com. This is an email address for Rocky Chang. It's a mail user, not a mail contact. Now let's discuss shared mailbox. What's shared mailbox? Well, my executives, they would like to share one mailbox so that they can have a common calendar, as well as if somebody send them email for that mailbox, all four of them can see this message, read this message, has the ability to reply to this message, so that they are all on the same page. So let's create a shared mailbox for our executive. As it says, shared mailbox allow a group of users to view and send emails from a common mailbox and share a common calendar. So I will say executive mailbox, and I will say executives, users. Once again, I can choose my executives, which is David and Mark and Steve. These three guys will be sharing this mailbox called executive. Where this mailbox will be stored? Any guesses? If you have seen my previous video, can you make a guess? Of course, over here, inside executives DB. And save it. And that's it. We have a shared mailbox called executive mailbox. And this mailbox is a shared mailbox and shared by three of our top executives so that they can have common calendars, they can view this mailbox and respond from same mailbox as well. So this is it, and I would like to see you in another video. Take care.